Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down Scott Galloway's incredible framework for building wealth. We're going to take all his wide-ranging advice and boil it down into a simple, actionable guide for you.
All right, let's just jump right into this. I mean, that quote, it kind of turns everything we think we know about getting rich on its head, right? And it hints at this secret playbook the super wealthy are using, a playbook most of us have never even seen.
So, before we even touch on numbers or investment strategies, we have to start with the foundation. And that's a really crucial shift in your mindset. It's all about being willing to fail, and maybe even fail publicly.
Galloway is super clear about this. He says that pretty much every single good thing that's ever happened to him, I'm talking from meeting his wife to making his fortune, all of it came from taking a risk that felt, deeply, deeply uncomfortable at the time.
So what's the takeaway here? It's simple, really. The biggest wins in life, whether we're talking about your love life, your career, or starting a business, they all go to the people who are willing to hear the word no and just keep going. You can't let it knock you off your path.
Okay, so with that mindset in place, let's talk strategy. This is the central shift you absolutely have to make, and you'll see how it builds directly on that idea of being comfortable with risk.
And this right here, this is the whole game. You've got two teams, earners and owners. Earners, well, they trade their time for a paycheck, and they get hammered with the highest tax rates. But owners, they play a different game. They build assets, things that make money for them, and they get these huge tax breaks. It's a completely different system. I love this quote. It just perfectly sums up the goal, doesn't it? You want to stop being the soldier on the front lines and become the general. You want to command an army of assets that are out there working for you 24/7, building your wealth while you sleep.
Okay, so how do you actually build this army of capital? Well, here's the twist. It's not about gambling on crypto or trying to find the next Tesla. Nope. It's through a method that honestly sounds kind of boring. But trust me, it is incredibly, incredibly powerful.
Galloway learned this the hard way. He lost his entire fortune not once but twice by betting it all on single companies. What he realized is that diversification, it's like financial Kevlar. It's a thing that protects you from getting wiped out, both financially and, let's be honest, mentally too.
And the best part? You don't need to be some Wall Street wizard to do this. The simplest, most effective strategy out there is just to consistently buy a little piece of everything, the entire market.
So let's make this real. What does that actually look like? Let's start with, say, 500 pounds a month. I know that might not sound like a lot.
But here's the thing. When you combine that consistent investment with the single biggest advantage you have, especially when you're young, which is time, that's when the magic really starts to happen. We're talking about the power of compounding interest. Fast forward to age 65, and that small monthly investment, it's turned into over £1.5 million, a totally life-changing amount of money. And how? Through that patient, boring, but unbelievably powerful force of compounding.
Okay, now we're getting into the masterclass. This is the strategy that the super owners, the wealthiest people on the planet, use to legally pay almost zero tax on their fortunes as they grow.
The entire secret boils down to one simple rule. Never sell your appreciating assets. See, the moment you sell a stock or property that's gone up in value, you trigger a taxable event. You have to pay capital gains tax. So the goal is to never sell, which leads to the obvious question, right? How on earth do you access your money if you never sell anything?
Well, the answer is a strategy with a kind of morbid name, but believe me, it is the engine that drives multi-generational wealth. Let's break down exactly how buy, borrow, die actually works.
So, here it is in 3 steps. First, you buy assets that go up in value. Think stocks, real estate. Then, instead of selling them to get cash, you borrow against them. You take out low-interest loans to pay for your lifestyle. And guess what? Loans aren't taxed as income. All the while, your original assets are still growing. Finally, you die. And this is the crazy part. Your heirs inherit those assets at what's called a stepped-up basis. That means the taxman pretends your heirs bought the assets on the day you died, at their current high value, completely erasing decades of taxable gains. The tax bill? It just disappears.
Okay, I know, this all might sound a little out there, maybe even overwhelming. But the truth is, the path to building your own wealth starts with a few really simple but powerful things you can do literally today. So let's boil it all down. What are your key takeaways? Number 1, start training that rejection muscle.
Go take some small, uncomfortable social risks. Seriously. Number 2, shift your brain from earner to owner. Start buying assets, I don't care how small, just start. And number 3, the most practical step of all, automate that boring investment. Set up a regular payment into a low-cost index fund. Do it today.
And at the end of the day, that's the real lesson here. Getting to £1 million isn't about finding a winning lottery ticket. It's about starting with that 500. It's about building a foundation, starting right now with whatever you've got.